Karen's laugh was a chainsaw, shredding the quiet of our little town. She stood on my land preaching about her vision, while her bulldozer chewed up my grandfather's fields. The nerve of her, waddling around like she owned the place. Her floral dress flapping like a warning flag nobody heeded. Karen, the HOA queen, had a knack for making enemies. But this time, she'd picked the wrong fight. This wasn't just a land grab. It was a declaration of war, and I, Ellie Harper, wasn't about to let her steamroll my legacy. It started 3 months ago, when Karen waltzed into our sleepy hamlet of Willow Creek. Her clipboard clutched like a scepter. She'd moved here to civilize us, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. The HOA she strong-armed into existence was her weapon, and she wielded it like a tyrant. No unapproved mailboxes. No fences over 4 feet. No chickens, God forbid. But when she set her sights on my family's 10-acre plot, the last undeveloped land in town, she crossed a line. That land wasn't just dirt. It was my grandfather's dream, the place where he taught me to plant corn, to listen to the wind, to know what it means to belong somewhere. Karen didn't care. She saw dollar signs and a warehouse for her cousin's shady shipping business. I found out by accident. I'd been away for a week, helping my sister in the city, when my neighbor Tim called. "Ellie, you better get back here. There's a bulldozer on your land." I sped home, heart pounding, only to find Karen directing a crew like some discount dictator. "This is for the community's benefit," she sneered when I confronted her, her chins wobbling as she waved a forged deed. Forged? The audacity. She'd bribed someone at the county office to push through a fake title transfer, claiming my land was abandoned. Abandoned? I'd been paying taxes on it since I was 22. The town was split. Half the folks hated Karen but feared her HOA fines. The other half bought her lies about economic growth. She'd already started pouring concrete, her cousin's trucks rumbling in with steel beams. I stood there, staring at the skeleton of her warehouse, my fists clenched so tight my nails drew blood. "You can't do this," I said, voice shaking. Karen just laughed, her eyes glinting with that smug certainty that she'd already won. "Try me, sweetheart," she said, turning back to her crew. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't about negotiation. This was about justice. I didn't sleep that night. I dug through every document my grandfather left: meads, surveys, tax records. They were airtight. The land was mine, free and clear. But Karen had connections, and I had nothing but a stubborn streak and a promise to my grandfather to protect what was ours. I started with the county office, where a nervous clerk admitted Karen had influenced the records. Bribes, favors, maybe worse. I filed a complaint, but the wheels of bureaucracy turned slow. Meanwhile, Karen's warehouse grew, a hulking scar on my land. Every nail driven into that frame felt like a stab to my heart. I wasn't alone, though. Tim, the farmer next door, had his own beef with Karen, fined him for his unsightly tractor. Then there was Maya, the young barista at the town's only coffee shop, who'd been hit with a $500 fine for painting her shed purple. We formed an unlikely trio, meeting in secret at my kitchen table, plotting like revolutionaries. Tim knew the law. He'd fought off a developer years ago. Maya had a knack for digging up dirt online. Me? I had rage and a reason to fight. Maya struck gold first. She found Karen's cousin's shipping company tied to a string of fraud cases, shady deals, unreported income, even whispers of smuggling. The warehouse wasn't just a power grab. It was a front. We took it to the sheriff, a grizzled man named Dan who'd known my grandfather. He was skeptical but listened. "Get me proof," he said, "and I'll move." So we did. Maya hacked into Karen's public email and asked me how. The girl's a wizard and found messages between Karen and her cousin, detailing the forged deed and a plan to flip the land for a fortune once the warehouse was built. Tim tracked down the surveyor Karen had paid off, a weaselly guy who cracked under pressure and admitted everything. The evidence was damning, but Karen was slippery. When I confronted her again, this time with Dan at my side, she doubled down. "You're just jealous," she spat, her face red as she jabbed a finger at me. "This town needs progress, not your sentimental nonsense." The crowd that had gathered, neighbors, shopkeepers, even kids on bikes, murmured. Some nodded with her, bought by her promises of jobs. Others looked at me, waiting for my move. I held up the real deed, my voice steady. This land is mine. Always has been. And you, Karen, are a thief. The air crackled. Karen's eyes darted, searching for an out. But Dan stepped forward, cuffs in hand. Karen Mitchell, you're under arrest for fraud and forgery. The crowd gasped. Karen shrieked, flailing as Dan led her to his cruiser, her clipboard hitting the dirt. Her cousin, who'd been lurking by the warehouse, bolted, but Tim tackled him like a linebacker. It was chaos, beautiful chaos, and I stood there, heart pounding, watching the empire Karen built crumble in real time. The aftermath was messy. The warehouse was torn down, the land restored as best we could. The county fired the corrupt clerk, and Karen's cousin faced his own charges. Karen? She got 3 years for fraud, plus restitution I'll never see. The town rallied around me, ashamed they'd let her bully them for so long. Tim's tractor got a new paint job, bright red, just to spite her. Maya's shed stayed purple. And me? I planted corn again, right where Karen's concrete had been, each seed a middle finger to her greed. But it wasn't just about winning. It was about what Karen's fall taught us. She'd preyed on our fears, our silence, our willingness to look the other way. We'd let her for a while. That stung worse than the land grab. Standing on my field, watching the first green shoots break through, I realized this fight wasn't just for me. It was for everyone Karen had stepped on, everyone who'd felt small under her shadow. We took our town back, not with fists or guns, but with truth and a refusal to bow. Karen's chains weren't just cuffs. They were the weight of her own arrogance. She'd built her empire on lies, and it fell because we dared to stand up. As the sun set over my land, painting the sky in hues of fire, I felt my grandfather's hand on my shoulder, his voice in the wind. You did good, kid. And for the first time in months, I smiled. The end.